And welcome to another Tuesday tutorial with the Heritage Room. Today we're going to be going over researching Georgia death records or death certificates. The great thing about these is that they are freely available on FamilySearch.org. Anybody can access them at any point in time. That's the great part about Family Search. You don't have to be in the library building, and you don't have to pay to get access to these records. So this record set that we'll be searching in particular, there's actually two record sets. So Georgia started issuing death certificates in 1914, and they are available from 1914 to 1943 online on Family Search. And like I said, there's two record sets. So the first record set has 1914 and then 1916 through 1927. There's no death records for 1915. I'm not sure why. Pretty sure there's a reason. We could probably find out. Maybe we will today. And then the second record set is from 1928 until 1943. So let's get started on our search. We're going to search somebody moderately famous from here in Athens and show you his death record to give you information about what you can find on a death record and why they're valuable to genealogical research. So let's sign in. You can see here, I already have an account. You can create a free account. All you need is an email address. It's super easy to maintain. And I highly recommend it because there's tons of records on Family Search that aren't necessarily on other sites. This is the only place we can get Georgia death records. So, all right, I'm going to go ahead and sign in. I can keep moving my face around. There we go. And then we want to search that specific record set. I don't want to do a blind search through Family Search and just search for this person. That doesn't necessarily mean I'm going to get what I want. So we're going to go directly to that record set. So I click on search, and then I'm going to go straight down to catalog, just like you would if you were doing old school research in the library. You're going to go to the card catalog first. So in here, Family Search, you can search by different topics here. So we're going to search by place and keyword. So place, we know that we're looking at state of Georgia records. We're going to put those in. And you can see that I selected the way that they prefer you to enter it. Let's do that again. So if I just start typing Georgia, it gives me Georgia Republic. We're not looking for the country or the Republic of Georgia. We're looking at United States, the state of Georgia. So we're going to select that one. And then keywords. So we are specifically looking for death records. So we're going to type in death. And then availability. So this option right here, I always tell people, go ahead and click this, select online. The reason why I say that is because Family Search Catalog, it also contains a catalog of the physical items that they house at the Family History Center in Salt Lake City. We're not traveling to Salt Lake City anytime soon. We want to just look at the records that are online. So I made sure to select the availability of those records to the online only section. And then we hit search. So you can see here, there's tons of different things that come up. We're not looking for cemeteries. We want the actual vital record, the actual death certificate. So we're going to go down to vital record. And you can see here, there are our two record sets. You can tell I've searched for them before. Let's see if they have any information about why they don't have 1915. Maybe they included it here. Let's see. It does not. Maybe we can find out somewhere else. Might do some poking around. But you can tell that these are microfilms of originals housed at the Georgia Department of Archives and History in Atlanta, Georgia. That would be the Georgia Archives down at Morrow in Clayton County. So the physical records are kept there, and then they microfilmed them and made them available online. So, and it's on 227 microfilm reels. That's a lot of microfilm. So we're going to go back because we want to search the later set, the deaths that occurred from 1928 to 1943. I'm going to click there. And these are also held at the Morrow, Georgia State Archives, Morrow. So we are going to click here to search them. And then we are going to search for Ben Epps. I should maybe put in Benjamin, his full name. And then, pretty sure he's born in Oconee County, Georgia. If I could spell today. There we go. And let's see our results. Oh, goodness, he is right at the top. That is fantastic. So I kind of want to go over what this search and what kind of results pop up so you know how to narrow down your results to find the person that you are looking for. So we can tell here, this is his actual death certificate. And the reason why I know that, well, I know his death date, and that's correct. And I know that just because I know who this person is already. But we also know that this is that person's death certificate because he is listed as the principal. We'll go back to it, I promise. And then you can see here, Ben Epps is listed as a father on this one. You can tell here spouse was Patsy Parr something. This asterisk means they're not sure. They couldn't transcribe it. Children was Matt Epps, and then other is Sarah Epps. These are all the names that are listed on this record. And this Ben Epps, not necessarily the same Ben Epps, is listed as the father of the decedent on this death record. So not the one we're looking for. But if you're not sure of your decedent's name, but you know the parents' names, perhaps this is some way, a way you can search for one. So if you're not sure, how many children a couple had, you could search for that couple on the Georgia death records. Perhaps they had a child that was deceased during that time period. Then you can find, that child that way. Especially between census years, if you notice that a child passed away in between censuses or disappeared from the census records, that would be a way to kind of maybe figure out what happened. It'd be an option of search to see. So let's go to his actual death record and see what we can find. So on this initial screen that pulls up, we get some basic information here. He was 49. His birth year is estimated at 1888, and it's estimated because there was no vital record to confirm. Birth records, just like death records, well, death records obviously started in 1914 for the state of Georgia. However, birth records did not start for the state of Georgia until they were federally mandated, and they were federally mandated in 1919. So Benjamin T. Epps would not have had a vital record of birth. So we can't confirm. We can probably infer from other sources, whether that was from parents, a family Bible, other records that they had as he was growing up, birth announcements in the newspaper. There's a variety of different ways you can confirm birth years and birth dates. And perhaps the informant, listed the birth year on this record. So let's look at the actual record, see what we can see. All right, so let's start right up at the top and kind of go through numbers by numbers here. You can see here, number 1, place of death was Clark County in the Militia District 216, Athens, state of Georgia. City or town in Athens. Length of residence in this city or town. Was he a non-resident? It doesn't say he wasn't a non-resident. It says he no non-resident. So that means he was a resident, right? Am I reading that correctly? And then if the death occurred in the hospital, give its name instead of, the house number. So this death occurred at Athens General Hospital. And his full name, Benjamin Thomas Epps. His residence was, in fact, Athens, and he lived at the time of his death at 892 Hill Street here in Athens, Georgia. All right. He was married, male, 49 years old, 7 months and 26 days. I count you down to the days. And you can see here too, if less than 1 day, hours and minutes. So these were for infants who passed away shortly after childbirth. Just as it happens today, it happened then. And this was out without most modern medical care. So you'll find infant births in these death records as well. And it also lists occupation. So we can see here Benjamin is listed as a mechanic, airplane builder, and instructor. Go figure. We knew that, right? His place of birth, Oconee County. Father's name, you can see here they do the abbreviation for Thomas. The THOS is a common abbreviation for Thomas. So Thomas J. Epps, also born in Oconee County. They always list the mother's maiden name, which is tremendously helpful, especially if you didn't know mom's maiden name, is Evelyn Langford. And she was also born in Oconee County. And then the informant is a Mrs. A.J. or A.G. Smith. So more than likely, this is this woman's husband's name. So she is a Mr. A.J. Smith. Not really sure who this person is. I'm sure we could find out. I'm sure it was somebody close to him. Who knows? We could figure it out, though. It'd be a little bit more searching to see perhaps his known associates and things like that. Burial place is Oconee Hills Cemetery. He was interred on October 18th, 1937. And the undertaker or funeral home was McDormand Bridges Company Incorporated. So, good thing to know too, and if a funeral home is still around, oftentimes they do keep records of their decedents for quite some time. So if you do figure out who the funeral home is and they are still operational, because oftentimes they're family businesses, you can get more information about the person you're researching from the funeral home too. And they're often very helpful with research as well. So you can just give folks a call and see. His date of death was 2 days prior to his interment on October 16th at 11:50 p.m., so shortly before midnight. And it looks like, oh goodness, a fractured skull. So this doctor, who is the informant who is writing out this medical certificate of death, says, the accident occurred, the date of death was this date, was October 16th. He last saw him alive on October 16th. So he came into the hospital alive and then passed away of a fractured skull, basal. So that must be the location of the fracture, perhaps. I'm not up on my anatomy terms. And then it'll also go into like manner and cause and nature of death. So was it an injury, accident, suicide, or homicide? So this was an accident and it occurred at the airport. And it looks like the nature of it was an airplane accident. So I'm sure there's some newspaper articles we can go and look at. So then we can jump, you can jump over to Georgia Historic Newspapers and look for, October 17th, perhaps. Perhaps there's a story on the 17th or 18th about Ben Epps' death and what happened, what the accident perhaps looked like, what occurred, maybe some more details there. that would be interesting to see. I'm sure it's in the many books that are written about Ben Epps as well. And here that H.B. Harris was the doctor, and it was filed in the county offices on October 23rd, 1937. And it's, the registrar signed the record, just like today. I really enjoy death records. I think they enjoy them. They just provide a lot of information to researchers. So indirect and direct information. So the direct information that we get from a death record is the manner of death, the date of death, and information about the burial as well. And it could lead to a lot of other research avenues. So we would look up, like with Ben Epps, Mr. Epps here, we would look up articles. Perhaps there was an article in the newspaper about this accident. We could also go and look at Oconee Hill Cemetery records. We could contact the funeral home. I think looking into the informant would be interesting to see if perhaps this informant's listed somewhere else in any records connected to Mr. Epps. And then we get his parental information from this record. And then some roundabout birth information. So the birth information is really indirect information. And I want people to I want our researchers to be a little bit more informed about birth information on vital records like death records. So we know for a fact Ben Epps did not have a vital record of birth, but they list a birth date as February 20th, 1888. So I would want to go and see if this birth date is listed on other records relevant to Ben Epps. So I would look at census records to see, is it, listed around the same time? Because we know years are listed on the census, or age at the time of the census. Can we infer that this is in fact the correct date of birth? I would also want to look and see if there's any newspaper articles. Is there a birth announcement? Is it listed in his obituary, his birth year? I would want to have at least 2 to 3 other sources of information about this birth year, because this is indirect. We know that his death information is direct information because it is being reported at the time that this record is being written. The birth information would be information that would be inferred. It is informed, to the doctor by other people, and not necessarily the decedent, because clearly he was in a very tragic accident and couldn't give this information. So I would want to double check. I would also want to double check parental information. He's a rather modern day person, Ben Epps, and he has a well-documented history. But for those of us who have family members who aren't necessarily the best and well-documented, we would want to go and confirm these inferred or indirect informational sources on a death record. So this would be any information related to that person's birth, especially if there's no vital record associated with this person. So if they were born prior to 1919, we would want to go and double check this information on the death record. But death records are so informative. I hope you can see that from this tutorial. As you're searching through information and doing research at home and run into trouble at any point in time, or just want to chat about your research and bounce some ideas off of us in the Heritage Room, please do feel free to reach out to us. You can call us, email us, even shoot us a message on Facebook. I'll be sure to put all that information down in the details on the video. So just check that and feel free to reach out. Thank you so much, and I hope you have a great day.